Hey guys, Shadowz here, and today we're going to be talking about the state of Gears of War based on an amazing article posted by Polygon, link down below in the description if you want to go read the full article. Now, it features a lot of backstory on Black Tusk as a company, starting up and then moving on with Rod Ferguson joining them at the same time as the Gears of War franchise, all the way through the whole experience of developing the Gears of War Ultimate Edition game, which we can see releasing next month, August 25th. Talking about what had to be done to make sure it's a remaster for the fans and the community, and how they would go about creating it in a time span that they had been given. Overall, it's just a really good read for any Gears of War fans out there, because you can just read of just how much dedication and passion the guys and girls over at the Coalition have in truly making sure that Gears of War has a long road ahead and a very bright future. So if we backtrack to the Gears of War announcement in January 2014, in which Microsoft had bought the franchise and Rod Ferguson was returning to lead the production of Gears of War at Black Tusk Studios. The first official week of work, which I find very interesting at Black Tusk Studios, was actually spent playing through the trilogy of 3 games, Gears of War 2 and Gears of War 3, so that all of the developers could get familiar with Gears of War as a franchise when it comes to not just the how things were developed side of things, but also getting to know the characters, the settings, the storyline and everything in between. The team from the beginning knew what their goals were for Gears of War Ultimate Edition when they were going to be developing it, and had to make some crucial decisions early on, like for example that the game is running off Unreal Engine 3 just like the original Gears of War and not Unreal Engine 4, because near enough everything would have needed to be redone, such as artificial intelligence. Rod mentions that you couldn't simply pour over anything like a wretch from Unreal Engine 3 to 4, it would needed to be rescripted in hoping that the outcome would be the same as the original. What I find really fascinating in reading through this article is that the team at Black Tusk had a playable Xbox One build of Gears of War within only 4 weeks, which is just a crazy fast, especially for a new studio with pretty much like 99% new developers working on Gears of War for the first time. This was very good progress for the team, just because the Coalition were actually only given about 4 months of pre-production, 10 months of production and 2 months of cleanup and polish for bug fixing and any necessary final changes, which in total is about 1 year and 4 months to create Gears of War Ultimate Edition, start to finish, making sure that it was a remastered game for the fans and the community that we would expect a Gears of War 1 remake to look like. But in my eyes, like me personally, from playing the beta and seeing more gameplay as the weeks go on until release, I think I can definitely say personally that it looks like the Coalition have delivered even with this tight schedule. Due to this time constraint on the development of the Ultimate Edition game, Rod Ferguson talks about how a few features would not be able to be included within Gears of War Ultimate Edition, because if it was, it would have forced the game to be delayed, because remember, this Ultimate Edition is just a Xbox One Gears of War experience to tie us over till Gears of War 4 releases, so we wouldn't have to have nothing and we wouldn't be waiting without anything to play. This was mainly the reason why Horde mode isn't included in Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Ferguson had mentioned on the Polygon article, quote, "It came down to 2 things. One was just time and effort to do that. Also, Horde didn't exist until Gears of War 2 because you have to have a certain library of creatures to create a reasonable army to fight against. In Gears of War, there's not as much breadth to the army, and the experience would have been kind of anemic compared to what it is in Gears of War 2. The scope of Horde was a bit too much for the development cycle," end quote. Now, a lot of hard work was needed since the beginning of production for Gears of War Ultimate Edition, of course, all the way till right now, as the game has pretty much just gone gold. Remember that over 3,000 assets have been completely remastered and created from the ground up. All of the cutscenes have been fully redone, from shooting mocap to putting everything together. According to Cinematics director Kyle Gorlin, it took almost a whole year to completely recompose and reshoot just the original Gears of War, about 45 minutes worth of cutscenes, which is just crazy. Getting multiplayer to a solid 60 frames per second, and that's just to name a few of the things that needed to be done to create what the Gears of War Ultimate Edition experience is that we're going to be releasing next month, August 25th. Finally, remember, Gears of War Ultimate Edition has been made with the fans and the community in mind, giving us a Xbox One Gears of War experience to play around with, while at the same time touching upon that nostalgic feel of the original Gears of War game, reminding everybody how this franchise began and what made it so special, but also at the same time modernizing it for the game for a 2015 release. I personally see this as a welcome back present, not just for the community, but for the Gears of War franchise as well, as we see the major release of Gears of War 4 next year in 2016. So to have today's video, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you aren't already. Thanks for watching, and as always, I shall see you on the next one.